We in here. We in here, y'all. We in here. And guess what, y'all? We ain't leaving without a victory. We ain't leaving without a victory. So, y'all, hey, my brothers, put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we gonna do it then, we do it big then. Let's go, baby. I only have 2 words to say to you. Go. No.
How was that, Pump? Welcome to the Somebody Said Noles podcast. But how was that, Pump? I know you was in the building when my guy, what's his name, the comedian, that always takes his shirt off, and he gave the whole stadium speech before
the white guy,
Alabama game,
right? Yeah,
I think he's from like Brooksville or something.
It was super hype, man. The atmosphere was already, where it was supposed to be, right? First game of the season, Bama, Florida State, and Tommy had already taught this his mess, and for whatever reason, man, I think that more people were more optimistic than you probably would have thought that they would have been. So when he got up there and just hyped everybody up, man, we was ready to go. Yeah, that was like probably that might be a top. Shoot, that might be top 2 for me.
Can't be. Not that season.
In person? I'm just talking about the game itself.
The environment?
No, games that I've actually experienced at Doak Campbell Stadium, that might be top 3. It might be number 2.
Pump. We stormed let's think about this for a second before we start the show. First of all, welcome everybody to the Somebody Said Noles pod. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to try to get a lot of traffic over there. We need at least 50 subscribers to start going live. So right now we're just 50. Like Breeze would say, steal your girlfriend phone, your friend phone, and subscribe. Get us to 50 so we can start going live again. But yeah, man, I'm always joined by my guy Pumpy Johnson.
Yes,
Return to Positive Pump.
He's still here. Listen. I'm gonna give you the best that I got, man. Anita Baker.
Hey, man, give me what you got.
All right, boss.
All right, but back to what we were saying. So you and I, we been to 4th and 13.
4th and Parchment.
Yeah. So okay. I feel like that was a really great environment to be a part of. You and I have stormed the field together, which the other fan bases frowned upon. And I think the other one we sat through Clemson when Trevor Lawrence went crazy. But I feel like those first 2 were really great atmosphere. And you're saying the Alabama game topped those 2.
Yeah. Yeah. The best environment that I have been in and the loudest I ever heard Doak, I think I've told you guys this before, was when we finally beat Miami at home. That was my last year in Tallahassee. So that was 02, 03, so 07. Yeah, so 07. And they flubbed the kick. And man, listen, I'd never heard Doak that loud because we hadn't beat Miami. I forgot how many years. We hadn't beat Miami since I was at Florida State. So that's the first time that we beat them since I was there. And it was at home. That crowd went bananas. It was bonkers, man. So
that one,
the Bama game, because again, nobody expected us to beat Bama. It's not like playing Florida. It's not like playing Miami. But it's playing, holier than thou Alabama. And nobody gave us a chance. And we came out there and just bust them in the face, bro. Like, it was crazy, right? Started raining. Nobody was leaving. And I think that last touchdown run by Sawchuck, right? It was like perfect to cap that game where they're just dragging people into the end zone. That game was bonkers. So it was louder in there than it was for those 2 Florida games even.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That was probably the drunkest I've ever been watching a Florida State game. After Mekhi Danzy scored that reverse, I'm like, we gonna beat these. I started like just taking shots, and at the end of the night, I ended up calling the district manager of our company that I work for taking a selfie with my son with a beer in my hand, calling him because he's an Alabama fan, which he's super cool. And then I went to this pizza spot in Gulfport with my mother-in-law and fell asleep at the table.
Nice. Nice.
But
I
yeah,
think the drunkest I ever been was, well, I take that back. Drunkest I've been watching a game, not in person, was the national championship. I was almost slayed by halftime. I had to be. And then when Kermit took that kickoff to the house, yeah.
And you're pretty drunk in Ireland.
Oh yeah, now in person for games in person. Oh yeah, stories to tell. Those are off air stories.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes, if you will. So if you guys tuned in last week, we kicked off our top 30 most important players, top 30 players that have to have a good season or contribute for Florida State to have some success this year. Last week we did 30 to 26, and this week we're gonna keep it rolling with 25 through 21. Pump, I'm gonna toss it over to you as always to get us rolling.
All right, man. Number 25. This one is for me, it's somebody who needs to perform now, and I think it's not just for this year, but going towards the future. It's going to be Sandman Thompson. Chicago.
We have a guest. Chicago calling in.
Man, just love that dog. But if somebody wants a Doberman, I will. She might be on the auction block pretty soon. Yeah, man, Sandman Thompson. Somebody who this coaching staff has been really high on. Freshman, not a big guy, but it seems like he's already taken to that center position. They have so much high upside from him, and for me, I look at him and I'm like, okay, it's one of your guys, and you know how I feel about recruiting homegrown guys, right? So guys that you brought in, guys that you can, get your hands on, literally, Herb. And for me, I'm projecting him. I'm hoping that he has a huge step forward, because it sucks to have to replace your line every single year, right?
Yeah.
And we know how important the center position is, right? I mean, he's the quarterback of that line. So if you have stability on that offensive line, and it can come from a guy that that's known the system, even though there might be some shakeups, right? Neither here nor there, right? But if you got a guy that has some stability on that O-line, I feel like it can now pay dividends now and at least 2 more years down the line, man. So Sandman comes in at my number 25.
And I noticed the trend, not to jump in here, but I noticed the trend with how they attack the offensive line, talent acquisition, if you will, this season, especially in the portal. They went younger. The obviously the left tackle, Xavier from Auburn. He's the senior, the eldest guy and we got another guest, SJ.
The Savior's back.
I don't know about it. I might have to have another one, man. Might have to have another one.
If he ain't getting the job done, you're gonna be out like Mike.
But yeah, they went younger this year in the portal, and that's important. You don't want to keep going in year and year out. So if Sandman could take a step forward, and up the play on that offensive line, we could build off of something like that. Him and Otto should have a healthy competition, either at that center or guard spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Like I said, find yourself some stability. That's it. And it looks like you have something there. And again, they're high on that kid, which, to be fair, that coaching staff has been high on a lot of people. But I think that as a consensus, we have said that Herb Hand, his track record is really, really good, right? We know what that line was last year. If he can do the same thing, for that line this year, then great, step forward. So, yeah, 25, Sandman Thompson.
Like it.
All right. Number 24, staying on the O-line again. It's this offense to me, is only going to go as far as this O-line allows it, right? We're not expecting, we know what the talent is at the skill positions, but it's not going to mean a thing if they can't protect Ashton Daniels and they can't run the ball, right? I'm actually really high on Paul Bowling. So
Really?
he actually started. Yeah, he started as a true freshman. Again, I get it, competition, but just on paper, what it says about him. Started at Troy, true freshman. Now he started at center, right? Had a pretty solid season. Started 9 games, primarily at center. They switched him over to guard later on in the season, whatever. So again, to me, the quarterback of your O-line starting as a true freshman, and I believe, if I'm getting this right too, let me make sure I pull up my stats here. Yeah, played a total of 752 snaps at center. That offensive line, I think he only allowed 3 sacks. Not bad. Again, true freshman. So stability, man. The fact that he's young, he has experience, starting. He has experience starting at center and at guard. So to me, if Sandman is going to be your guy going forward at center, worst case scenario, you got a guy who knows the position. If you can slide Sandman over, maybe he can play guard. To me, I feel like you have 2 guys who are young, they have experience, and can be some kind of stability on that O-line here and going forward. So number 24, man, Paul Bowling. I think if those 2 guys have at least a decent season, again, projects good now and towards the future.
No, I'm with you on it, man. Great size, 6'3", 305. He's like Sandman. He's taking a step up in competition. So that's the only concerning thing for me. But when you look at their production and their ability, and then you put them in the hands of Herb, who these guys are still young, so you could still kind of mold them and shape them into the player that you want them to be. But the potential is through the roof. So this could, if these players hit, man, this could be a good foundation for the future, especially with the way that we want to play football, where we want to run the ball first and just throw it to deuce. So if these guys get hit and we could get both these guys starting on the offensive line, we could lean more into that running game to where we're not trying to go, throw the ball 30, 40 times a game with Ashton Daniels. So I like those 2, man.
All right, man. We're starting to get on some of these youngins, man. Again, the one thing that I do like about this list so far, even going into my list from last week, again, young guys, man. You know what I mean? It's one thing to pull in, veterans, right? Get guys that have a whole bunch of snaps under their belt. That's cool, but it doesn't really project, again, going forward. So my number 23 guy, somebody I'm actually really high on, seems like everybody else is high on him, Jason Lopez, right? 2-star athlete, 4-star wide receiver coming out of high school, Chaminade Madonna, so you know what that's all about. His numbers in high school, over 5,000 yards, 59 touchdowns, right? 4 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards and at least 10 touchdowns. Led Chaminade to an 11-3 record, state championship, all the accolades, right? Got him in here playing football, playing basketball. Again, somebody that Mike Norvell, they're really high on. I think even during spring, he said the kid's going to play, just flat out, right? Somebody asked him, the kid's going to play. So, I mean, the production, you already know what that is. So, again, it seems like he's one of those kind of guys, figure out a way to get the ball in his hands, right? Somehow on offense, I don't know if he if he does any kind of return stuff, but they just find ways to get the ball in his hands. And to me, we know what the return game has been like the last couple of years. So anything can help. But super high on this kid, man. You got to have something to complement Deuce Robinson, right? And again, I know it's dependent on a true freshman, but you can't sneeze at that production, man. So yeah, he's super high to me. I couldn't put him past 20, right? Because I don't want to depend that heavily on a true freshman. right? But if he can give you anything, if he's anything with the back of his playing card says, he's gonna be nice, man.
No, I'm with you 100%, man. This is my favorite player in this class, this incoming class. Kids, he's just a playmaker. He reminds me of Malachi Tony. I know that's a
That's high
that's a
praise.
huge ask. That's high praise, but the kid came in early, hopped on the court, played with the basketball team, was late this spring, learned the playbook. He was out there at pro day helping catch footballs and got up. You're talking about a Division I playbook that you have to come in and learn, and the fact that you learn it and you go in there and you start making plays fresh off of basketball court, that says a lot about the kid, man. So imagine just going into camp, the same time as everybody else, having the same opportunity. I think he's going to be big for us. Now, if he goes out there and starts, I don't think that might be a problem because there's other guys that we're hoping that takes another step that's older than him. But I think I like the wide receiver room overall. It's a deep room, and I think he's one of those guys that's gonna push for more playing time. Like the guys in front of him, they got to be on their A game, or he could easily take a spot. And I want to see him in the returning game too. I think he has sure hands. He's very explosive. You watch his basketball highlight tape, and he's dunking. For that size, he's an elite athlete, and I hope we, like you say, find creative ways to get him the ball. You gotta be able to use all the weapons that you have, regardless of their class.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Again, I'm excited to see that kid on the field, man. So. All right, number 22. These next two picks, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Christmas tree?
No. There's reasons behind it. Omar Graham. I got Omar Graham up here. I think for that linebacker core, he might be the longest tenured linebacker we have?
I want to say him and Blake Nicholson came in the same year.
And again, we know what Blake is. Hopefully he can take a step. Omar Graham, I feel like is one of those guys when we've watched the games, I feel like, you, me, and Herm, A Will on there too. I feel like he's one of those kind of guys where it seems like, oh, look at Omar. Omar's out there making plays. I feel like year after year, Omar Graham has progressively gotten better, right? I don't think that he's going to be, All-American, All-ACC, anything like that. I think that Omar Graham is a serviceable linebacker, right? And again, to me, experience back there, if you put him aside or next to somebody like a Tatum Bethune type player, he's not going to get lost in the shuffle, right? I don't think that you're going to hear his name too much. He's just out there making his plays, doing his job. And I feel like our linebacking core has been really, really trash the last couple of years. We know that. Unfortunately, he's been a part of those trash linebacking, groups. But I don't think that we've looked at him and said, yeah, he's the problem on a regular basis. I feel like he'll bring some stability to that linebacking core, and you put guys around him, like some guys that we might be naming a little higher on this list. And I'm hoping that he has a good season, man. Again, that's a position that we need to tighten up and take a big step forward. So Omar Graham is going to be super important to me in this season.
I think I thought he started to put it together at the end of last season, man. He came on really strong. Actually thought about transferring it and ended up staying. So the kid, like you said, he's not going to be a future NFL star or anything, but he has the ability to be a solid college linebacker. I could even go as far as saying if he has a great camp, which they always say he does, and then we watch the games and it doesn't pan out. But if he has a great camp and actually plays, to his level of abilities, I think you could get a Kalen DeLoach type of year out of him. That's not a stretch to say. He's been around, he's seen it all. And just parlay the back end of last season into this year. And I think you pair that with Jones, who I'm sure you and I have him maybe top 10 in our list. You pair those two together, and you got you a solid group. You know, I think there's bodies in this room, man. Somebody's got to step up and take that other spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, last one, and this one, when I probably sent it to you, probably looked at it like, what the hell is he doing?
I mean, I get it.
Gabe Panikowski, man, and doesn't even matter who he is, doesn't matter what his name is. The reason why I have him as high as I do, you know, even ahead of guys like a Jason Lopez, senior, he's going to be here 1 year. The last time that we had a not even a decent team, the last dependable player outside of a Deuce Robinson that we had, I think that between you, me, and her, we can all agree, was Fitz at kicker.
Fitzy. Yep.
Right? Fitzy
and Mastermano.
And Mastermano. So our special teams, right?
Yeah.
And for where Fitz was to where he ended up, or he started from to where he ended up, if you get it in range, you know, get him, you know, within the 30 and the 40, Fitz was probably going to knock that down, right? Last year, we saw Jake Weinberg. He had a leg out of this world. He could kick it from the other side of the field, but you just didn't know where it was going, man. The kid was 12 for 19, 60%. Not good.
Hopefully he has the same problem this year. He's over in Miami now.
Go for it, Jake. Good for you. Gabe Panikowski, man, he was 15 of 15 last year. He was just good. And I feel like in this offense, we're going to need somebody that's dependable. That if the offense stalls, if we can at least get it in field goal range, get points, right? This team is going to need to get points, right? We don't know what Ashton's going to be. We don't know, you know, and again, barring injury, you know, knock on wood, you know, we need Deuce to stay healthy. Last year, he wasn't healthy every game, right? The other receivers, they just weren't getting the ball to him. We all know that story. But if you can at least get some kind of productivity on offense to where we can at least get it in field goal range to a serviceable and dependable kicker, I feel like we'll be in more games than we're not, right? You got to have a good special team. So he's going to be, to me, that is going to be super important, because even go back to 2024, even in those games that we lost, there wasn't a ton of games that we just got blown out of in 24, right?
Yep.
And if we could have just scored some points, or at least if Mike Norvell would trust Fitz and go out there and kick a field goal, we actually might have won 2 or 3 more games. Who knows, right? But the only person that was keeping us in a lot of those games was our kicker. So this offense, you know, I'm on the fence. Just give me a special teams guy that can at least be dependable. And I think that he'll be that guy.
No, I'm with you. He's not on my list at all, so I'll go ahead and say that. Although I do believe he's a very important piece. He definitely makes the top 50, you know, obviously. But I do think there were times where you needed to just take the points, and you couldn't rely on Jake. There's a few games where you know, 3 points would have mattered. And it helps for morale. You know, you have a long drive and you miss a field goal, and it just goes downhill after that. So if you got a guy, and it also, like you mentioned, Fitz's year where Mike didn't actually trust him as much as he should have. If you got a guy that's just knocking field goals down left and right, similar to Aguayo back in the day, you're gonna call plays a little bit differently. You know, you know, and I think that helps with the psyche of Mike Norvell calling plays where you know you got 3 points in your back pocket. But if you know you don't, you kind of have to call plays a little bit different. So hopefully we get some more consistency. We've been known historically for consistent kickers. So hopefully we get that out of our game.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Solid list, man. Solid list. I think we only have one in common on this list.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let me pull my list up. I'm kicking it off with Jason Lopez, man. We already touched on it. He's my favorite guy in the whole recruiting class this year. Receiver, I like that room this year, man. Like I said, if he has to start, that spells problems. But if he's coming in there and making a timely third down catch here and there. I don't mind it. I hope he starts at punt return because we got to figure that out, just for field position. So Jason Lopez is at 25 for me. 24, man. Landon Thomas, man. Coming out of high school, he was a highly touted tight end. At one point, he was the number one tight end in the country. We flipped him from Georgia. I thought he was going to come in here and be a star. You're 3 years in now, and still hasn't secured the starting spot at tight end. He's been overlooked and outplayed, if you will, by others. At times, he hasn't even been healthy enough to challenge for a starting position. So the biggest thing for me this year with him is first, just stay healthy throughout camp. Get through camp healthy. There's a lot of talent there. I go back to his freshman year. He had over 100 yards against Clemson, like 8 catches as a freshman. And after that, you really didn't see much of him. And last year, he was so hurt that he wasn't able to get going. He also thought about transferring and decided to come back. So hopefully, I don't think this is the most talented tight end room. So hopefully he steps up with the talent that he has and just takes that position, because I think Mike, he's challenging him. I don't think he's going to give him that position. Hopefully he that competitiveness comes out of him and challenges for that starting position. If he starts, I think that's a good sign for us.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's one of those guys. He's on my my high potential bum list. Right, he's on my HPB list right now.
You gotta come out with that full list, man. I would love to see that. I think you got Charles Lester on there.
Yep.
Bunch of former 5-star guys, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, again, I wonder why. We saw him as a freshman, and it seemed like he had a lot of promise. Like you said, that Clemson game, great game, man. We thought, maybe Nick O'Leary-ish, type traits in him. And where was he last year? You know what I mean? 3 catches all season, right? Like no good at all. So I don't know. I mean, besides the health wise, like, did you just not trust him? Could Tommy just not see him? We know what that offense was. They just tried to force feed, Deuce Robinson the ball. So it feels like a lot of guys got lost into the shuffle. So, I think this year, Mike's back calling plays. If, Mike gets back into his 2022 bag, let's see if he dials up some more things. We know Mike loves his tight ends. They recruit 17 of them every year. It feels like
Mike, those tight ends are going to be running free. The way, I mean, I know we talk bad about Mike, but one thing about when he calls plays, tight ends just happen to run free. Now, whether they catch him or not, Kyle Murlock, Cam McDonald, that's another story. But they run free.
Cam was solid, man. The Cam slander is not going to happen on this podcast. But yeah, man. Listen, if he takes a step, if he takes at this point 2 steps forward, because you got to make up for your sophomore year. We've seen him. He has all the tools, man. He has all the traits. Great build. He can catch. He's got good hands. I just got to see it, man. You got to find a way to revert back to your freshman form. And Mike's got to find a way to get him involved in the offense. I think it seems like maybe if he's one of those guys that is not involved, he just kind of says, well, I'm not here. I'll just go play special teams. And that's not what we need you for. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah, I like him on this list. He's a little too high for me to depend on, but, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they also fell in love with Randy Pittman last year, which I'm not mad at,
Mm-hmm. I wish Randy was still here, honestly.
Yeah, we should have secured. I mean, we should have dropped that bag, honestly. But that's another conversation. Next on the list, another receiver for me. Heavy on the pass catchers on this list. Devin Carter. Same with Jason Lopez. Mike went out and said he's going to play this year. And when you go out and say a true freshman is playing after spring ball, you haven't even gotten into fall camp. It says a lot about his talent. Bigger kid. I think he's 6'2", 6'3", very fast.
6'2".
6'2", so physically gifted, fast, big, could catch, polished route runner, mature for his age. And I like the fact that he's playing behind Deuce, so you get to see the work getting put in every day. He's the future of this offense, but I do think he's going to have some opportunities where he could get into a game and maybe guys are keying on Deuce and Danzy, and you drag him across the middle and he hits a. I feel like these two freshmen, they're going to have one big play each that's going to matter in the game. So they're hopefully they're as advertised. So I got to throw them in there because they're hyping them up, and I've watched the film and I'm really high on both of these guys.
Yeah, listen, you know how I feel, man. I think Lil D gonna be all right. And he comes from good stock, man. He's another legacy guy. The fact that we were recruiting against Georgia, Bama, Clemson. Again, like I'm hoping in one of these scenarios that a legacy guy, chooses Florida State, given the position that in the atmosphere that Florida State's in right now, and you still choose to come here. That says a lot. You know what I mean? My fear is honestly with any of these guys, you have too good of a season or don't have the season you want to, and now you're ready to bounce. You know what I mean? So I want him to have a good year, but at the same time, if he does, battles in whoever, pony up, let them purse strings loose.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, but I honestly do believe, like you're right. I think that him and Jason Lopez, man, that could be a crazy 1-2 punch, man, going forward. You know what I mean? Like, you invest in these young guys. So I'm with you. All
right, next on the list is Quindarius Jones. It seems like him and Omar Graham have been at Florida State for decades now. And it's put up or shut up season. You had him higher on your list. You had him on your list last week. He's got all the traits, man. He's 6'2", 190. He's fast. He just doesn't make plays when he's in the game. He'll make 1 or 2 plays here and there, but there's no consistency in his game. And I think he's got to have the camp of his life, because you got Nehemiah Chandler that came in that everybody's high on. A lot of people think he's the best corner, which I don't think so, on the team. Jabril Rawls, of course. We talked about our guy. What's his name?
Charles Lester.
Charles Lester. We talked about Charles Lester last week. There's a lot of other guys in this room, so he's got to step up, man. Quindarius Jones, I think they're putting him in position to take the spot. It's a matter of whether he's going to take it or not. And if he hasn't done it since he's been here, what's to say he will this year? But I still got a little hope in Quinn, man. He shows flashes. If he could just put together some consistency, I think we got something in Rawls, Jones, and Chandler. That's a good 1, 2, 3 at corner.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, that's why he was. I had him on my list last week. Like you said, all the tools, man. To have a 6'3" corner, 6'3", 180, 185, whatever he is, man. The athleticism to play against, the guys that you're going to face against Alabama, against Miami, right? Like, you need physical receivers who are able to make these plays. And he's been around for so long. This is his 4th year, right? He's a senior coming in now, right? So the only unfortunate part about him has been his consistency. I do believe another year in Tony White's defense. I think that Tony White believes in him as well, and he is going to get pushed. So, again, apparently, according to reports, if you want to believe them, coaches say he had a good spring. What that means, I don't know.
Nothing.
It doesn't mean much, but it's not surprising he had a good spring if he really did, because I think that we've seen the talent in him. It's just stringing one game after another. So, yeah, I like him on this list. It's scary to me that he's that high, or he needs to be this high, even on my list as well. But it's a piece that if he plays to his potential, it's a great 1-2 punch on each side. Yeah, man.
All right, to round it out, I got another linebacker, man. It's gonna be a bunch of linebackers on this list. Blake Nicholson, you had him. I believe you had him on your list last week. You know, I got him this week. So we're kind of flip flopping on a few players. Yeah, Blake, man, 6'3", 223, athletic kid. You know, how many times are we going to say that? We're going to say this a lot as we go further and further down the list. There's a lot of physically gifted kids on this roster that haven't put it together yet. And this year is a year where it's boom or bust. And this is the year for Blake. I went back and watched that Alabama game because I have nothing better to do. There's nothing, good to talk about, when it comes to Florida State. So just to keep the positivity vibes going, I went back and watched the Alabama game actually yesterday, and Blake was actually flying around that field. Whenever you get some time, go back and watch it. He made some plays in that game, and then as the year went on, Blake just got missing. He was nowhere. He was lost in coverage. There was times where he would blitz, then it's like, oh, I wasn't supposed to blitz, then turn around. He was unsure of himself a lot of times in this defense. And I don't think this is a defense that he signed up for. It's a defense that he's willing to learn. So hopefully he's taking that next step in this defense because I do think there's physical tools there. I'm on the Blake train, man. I went out and said in the group chat that I think he's going to be the starter next to Jones, and I'm sticking to it. I think he's got a lot of talent. The thing for me is when he hesitates. Whenever he reads and react, he's a really good player. Go back and watch the Alabama game and watch how he played. I was impressed with him, but he's similar to Quindarius Jones. You gotta put it together. It's time. These older guys start to become more consistent. If we could get some consistency in these older guys, I think we'll have a solid team. And it starts with guys like Blake.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think this is one of those scenarios, with a lot of guys that we see on here that have been around, that have been with the program for, 3-4 years. It's we can be honest, man. Football is one of those kind of games where you kind of either have it or you don't. You kind of know when you don't have it. And, once you get to a place to where your mind and your body at least start to sync up, because like you said, I've seen Blake. We've seen Blake run around that field and use that full, 6'3" frame. He's got the speed, he's got the quick twitch, but it's like his mind isn't. He's like a baby trying to walk, right? Right. And it's like you see their legs, like they're trying to do it, but they can't. The brain just not telling the left leg to not move before the right leg. And that's Blake out there a lot of times when he misses one play, it ruins him for the rest of the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like his confidence just gets struck down. Again, I feel like the type of coaching that he has, and I think this is one of those scenarios where, maybe coaching makes a difference. You played, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but if you have the kind of coach that at least can just grab you one time and say, listen, chill. Just chill, right? If I'm sitting here and I'm watching film with you, okay, fine. You did this. Next time, read it. Just read it. Don't react. Just read it first. You can make the play. Your body will always catch up to you, right? Read it first, and you have the speed to get there, right? Read it first, and you have the physical ability to get to where you need to be, right? Yeah. I feel like Tony White is one of those kind of guys that he can at least drill into you what I'm trying to get you to see out there, but you still got to do it.
And my coach always said, if you're going to be wrong at full speed, and then we can correct that. I think sometimes Blake, he's like in between decision making, and it's if you're going to be wrong, just be wrong full speed, and then it's all about the assignment, not the effort. I think that's a big part of it. And you look at Randy Shannon last year. I don't think he's the personality that you want with these linebackers. Now you got Ernie Sims in that room where he's a lot more fiery, and I think Ernie's going to get something out of these guys because he's one of those guys where he's not laid back. He's going to get on you, but he's also going to give you constructive criticism. And you want to have a coach like that where if you're making a mistake, he's going to get on you. I don't think Randy Shannon was that type of coach. And I think he let a lot of things go under the rug with Blake and some of these other guys.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you there for sure.
Hey man, we're working our way through this list, man. We're down to the starting 11 on each side, basically. So, I'm interested to see how this list is going to shape out. The new NCAA came out, or the trial play came out. I pre-ordered it. I got 3 days to wait, but I got to play it today, and there wasn't a lot of 90s on this team. So I'm interested to see how this list is going to shape up.
They ain't wrong.
It is some talented guys on this team, man. I think this team is better than a lot of people will give it credit for. And maybe it's just me being a homer and the positive Nancy, but I think there's something to this team, man.
You know what? I'm gonna give you this. The fact that there are a lot of 80s, right? I think again goes to what we always say, that I don't care where Florida is, I don't care where Florida State, Miami, whoever. We don't get bums. There's always talent in the room, right? Now, what the coaching staff is able to get out of that talent is another story, right? I mean, we saw what Indiana did with a bunch of 3-star guys and not a whole bunch of 4 and 5s. The only issue with that is, well, Indiana's supposed to have 3-star guys. Florida State's supposed to be getting 4 and 5-star guys. So, when I look at that and I'm seeing, okay, this guy has a 79, this guy has an 83, this guy has an 85. Okay, he's an 84. Okay, cool. That sounds good. But we're used to guys having 93s and 94s and 91s, like across at least at 7 positions on each side of the ball, at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You always say that's the standard. So somehow, some way, we have to get back to that, or we have a coaching staff that is able to get that 84 and 85 up to a 90 and 91. So,
and it's going to be the combination of both. You got to be able to develop the guys that have the potential to be a 90.
Yep.
And then once you develop those guys, it'll attract the guys that come out of high school and be a Malachi Tony or a Jeremiah Smith. So
yeah, man.
It starts with coaching. It always points back to coaching.
It's going to be an interesting year, man. I'm more excited for this year than you probably realize, just because it's gonna.
Either way, Pump, you guys are gonna get what you want. Either Mike gets fired, or we have a good season. We're gonna be we're good either way. Now, if we don't have a good season and he don't get fired, all hell is gonna break loose.
Again, I told you my fear is that we go 8-4. And the admin is like, oh, look at you, Mike. And they say, let's run it back one more time.
The climb starts over.
tired of climbing, boss.
That'll be a microcosm of what these last 5 to 7 years have been. Where you hit that 8-4 pocket and they say, let's run it back.
Man, listen.
Either be bad or good. I don't want in between.
I don't either. But again, the crazy part is, even when you sit back and you want to say, okay, let's do an eval. If we do go 8-4, it'll still only be his 3rd winning season in 7 years. That's not good.
That's another conversation, because I don't count the COVID year. I don't count the first year, and I think the second year was a building year. In hindsight, you have to say, hey, he didn't have his guys. So, but looking at it now, you got to count it against him. But the COVID year, you can't count that.
Listen, three out of 6 still ain't good. Not at Florida State.
No, I agree.
But hey, man, listen, we're here. Excited to get into the top 20 next week.
All right, so it'll be 20 through 16 next week. Please like, share, subscribe, get us to 50. We're not asking for much, man. We're not asking for much. Let's get this thing rolling. We're gonna be here every Thursday, bringing to you everything Seminoles football, and we're gonna try to stay as positive as possible while we do it. Sorry, my voice is a little little stuffy. You know, these kids, they're just hitting me with headshots of just coughing in my face
It be your own
and
people,
just walking
man.
off.
It be your own people. Kids are the worst.
Yeah, man.
All right, my
All
man.
right, Pump. Any words of wisdom to close us out?
Any work? I got nothing. I'm fried, man. I'm just ready to go see Hove next week. I ain't gonna lie
Hey,
to you.
man.
Put me on
It's
a
gonna be a
train.
time.
I'm gonna burn the entire city of New York. That matter of fact, I'm gonna go find homegirl that was up there on the light post and slaughter that chick. I'm gonna go find her, go hang out with her, go get a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Hey, man. A time is gonna be had next week, man. Pump, appreciate you joining as always. The man at the top is the one and only Pumpy Johnson.
Go Noles.
And I'm Unc Bayless. Kids sell hope, not coke. And we out.